Sir, shall we start, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. No problem.
Dina, are you okay?
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll start. A warm good evening to one and all. We have today our 18th talk of our webinar series, and we have an eminent person from industry who is working in semiconductor industry for the past 18 years with a lot of experience in the semiconductor industry. And as you know, now the wave in semiconductor industry is artificial intelligence. And let's see what is the impact of AI in semiconductor industry. We'll let us hear from our speaker about impact of AI in semiconductor industry. So, on behalf of IEEE MSS, I welcome Dr. Atif Shah to our webinar series. And also, I welcome all the audience who have taken time for attending this webinar series, which was started from June 1st onwards. So, before we start, I just want Ms. Dina to introduce our speaker. So, I hand over to Ms. Dina.
Eminent dignitaries, spirited participants, and all of you present here, a very good evening to one and all. Welcome back to the webinar series organized by IEEE Malabar subsection in association with IEEE Malabar Hub. Besides existential value, AI has shifted paradigms in this era, and the semiconductor industry has not been excluded. And how exactly it is so will be learned in today's session on AI for semiconductors. Today, we have with us an honorary genius with brilliant accolades to his name. He's not only an amazing teacher, but also a dexterous industrialist. 18 years into his journey, he has led 40+ research teams across the nation, designed 50+ technology transfers and products, conducted about 200 pan-India workshops, trained a huge number of 5,000 engineers, and was awarded the Best Project Guide by Renesas Japan in 2008. And Intel Innovator of the Year 2016, founder of Guru App and Tech Divine App, and currently serving as the chairman of Technocrat. I run out of words to describe his accomplishments. It is my absolute honor and privilege to invite Dr. A. Atif Shah to head today's session on AI for semiconductors.
Thank you all. Shall we start, sir?
Yeah, sure. You can start.
Yeah. Okay. So, good evening, all. Actually, this is, hope my voice is audible to everyone. Yeah. So this is Dr. A. Atif Shah, who is going to have just a sharing of my experience on artificial intelligence on semiconductor scenario. Actually, when it has been approached for giving such a kind of a seminar, so I thought we can combine two important mechanisms, that is the artificial intelligence and also the semiconductors, because we do work on these two areas, formulation of algorithm and how to make it on the particular chip, run on the chip, and what kind of sort of applications we are making out. And at this moment, I want to share you what are the complications we faced already, and how we rectified. It is going to be like sharing of all sort of experiences with you guys, with the different experiences on the boards and the programming techniques, what we did actually based on the AI algorithm. So this is what the 1 hour session is going to be like that. And second thing, what I'm going to do here is the two different aspects, that is artificial intelligence and also the chipsets. We are going to talk about something on the case studies, different case studies, how the AI algorithms works on, and how to make it on a particular application, and what are the chipsets available. And if you want to do a real-time scenario for kind of developing any kind of a research pattern, what can be done with the help of this. So this is my view of explaining all sort of things in the 1 hour session actually, right? So let me start with that. So you can after the things are over, you just post me any kind of queries. I'm very happy to answer all my queries, right? So here, let me start with the basic levels of all sort of applications. So because this is going to be a different scenario, so I want to make it you to understand what is the artificial intelligence, because everybody's working on artificial intelligence, and how far it can be utilized and how the chipsets is going to be. In what we are doing is, what in the yesterday's scenario is, they will work on the algorithm, data sets, something like that, put it on that, and they'll just went out. But here it is purely on the chipset, how to work on the chipset and what are the problems we'll face. So first thing is about, let me clear with how to choose your algorithm and how the AI works, and then we move on to the chipset and experimentation, and as well as the testing, validation, everything, how it can be done in your real-time scenario. So this is what we are going to see today about all these things. So let me start the basic intro about my company. And my company was started in 2011, and we have been working on embedded system, and now IoT, and we are now AI for semiconductors. We are very strong in developing AI algorithms for the chipsets, for the different hardwares and the different mechanisms. So we have been elected as a top 10 startup in semiconductor scenario by Silicon India in 2019, and we emerged as a top 50 Indian company for providing solutions on AI-based semiconductors. So we just do the AI and put it on the chipsets. So this is what the logic we do actually, and we have working continuously on the AI algorithms compatible with the different hardwares. So this is what the logic here is, and it's a bootstrapped $1 million company, and we have just achieved it, and just we are moving on to the next level. So let me start with the basic definition of artificial intelligence. So what is all about the artificial intelligence is about. So here artificial intelligence, when we talk about the artificial intelligence, when the chipsets are concerned, we never work only with one category of data. So we never work only on the one category of data. Instead, we work with the different scenarios of data. So our algorithm should be fit on to the heterogeneity of the data. That is considered to be the most important for us. So when you define an application of AI, it is not only simply related with the kind of image processing or something like that. It is not so. It has been applied in all sort of your application. So let me have the schema, and then I'll move on to applications where we are developing it and what kind of things it is developed. This is the schema which has been required whenever you develop a chipset. Okay, so this is the schema, you can follow it, and this is common schema which the AI works on the general desktops and also on my chipset, AI chipset. So this is the model what we have. So first thing is about the data model. So working on the different data model. So that is important for us actually. So there are some myths which I want to break over here. First thing is about when the AI chipsets are developed, it is not only solves your the day-to-day sensors and everything. Here, the most important application, what we are focusing is about video analytics. This is the most important scenario where we are just working on it. And my chipset should be able to take over all the videos and it can able to transmit in a particular network. So the video analytics plays an important role. So the chipset should be able to connect with any kind of a real-time camera systems and can able to get the data with a high frame rates and it can able to pass out to the network. So this is what we want. We have a clear idea that the chipset should be able to work on the video analytics. That is collecting your video. And analytics is different. That is we talk about later. So we have to take about the video. Second thing is about the speech processing. The most important case what we have in today's world is speech processing. So the speech processing is something like we are developing such a kind of a thing where the language translators, even the diagnosis of the diseases can also be identified through the speech. So here the speech comes into the next level of a processing. Third thing is about a normal sensors what we have, and that kind of sensors can be interfaced with the kind of a logic what you can understand. So this is how you can understand the mechanisms of the input data. So whenever you start working on the AI chipset, on whenever you want to work on the AI, please select your data. In accordance with that, you can select your chipset. So this is the logic which we have to come across here. So select your data and select your chipset. And most importantly, the most important application what is applied here is video. So we are in the era that how the video can able to process over my chip. That is the logic which we have to take care about it. So this is the most important scenario of the data model, the preparation of the data model. If you have the data with you, like you can design it with the memory, we can go for a cloud. What are all the things you want, we can design over here. So first select your data model. And next is storage. So in normally what we do normally here is the processing. For example, let us assume an example. So in this COVID area, we need there is a lot of systems for developing a social distance, and there are a lot of systems are being developing for identifying whether the person is wearing the mask or not. So this is when we design all these things kind of a stuff, like you need a high-end processors to store your training model, right? High-end processors to storing your data model or a training model, what we call. And that training model will be like, I have to train my devices, train my logic, and so that it can give you a clear-cut results. So now my chipset, what happens here is there are two types. One chipset is you can store your training model inside my chip. And second thing is about it should be stored in the cloud so that it can communicate with my cloud system. That is my chipset become an edge computers. It becomes an edge computers, training model on my cloud, fetch the data from the cloud and get it back. So this is the next application. I'll tell you how it is being done. So here, the collection of data and storage is important. This is the next one, what we come across here. Third thing is about the feature extraction. We talk about you have a lot of data, you have raw data, and from the raw data, we need to collect the feature extraction, which is done by the mathematical formulas, and you have a lot of things. And finally, you have the intelligent learning. So this is where we are coming across here. This is known to be the intelligent learning, where we just integrate a kind of a machine learning and the category of the deep learning algorithms on my system. So this is the clear problem what we have to understand. That is how to define it, a machine learning, and how to define the deep learning logic. So this is the logic. I'll tell you how to be done. And second thing is about the decision box. You have a finally with the decision box. What happens here is what the people are trying to achieve here in research, which I found here is we will stop only with the learning algorithm. That is, we will just evaluate the performance of the algorithm with the wholesome data. That's all. They will stop with that. But that is not true here. We have to integrate all training model and we have to test it in the real-time scenario so that it can give you the accurate pictures. So this is how we have to relate an application. Because if we stop with only with the intelligent learning, that is, you may aware about there is accuracy, there is a sensitivity, there is a precision, recall, and everything. These parameters are calculated based on the data what we have. If we stop from this, what happens is we used to, for example, we used to study for the examination, we'll prepare ourselves. Okay, that's it. We don't go and write the university exam or the examination, which is to be utilized for an evaluation. So that is the case scenario what we are following it. So my dear friends, just if you want to train a model, train the logic, train the data, train the model with all the data, and kindly test it on the real-time scenario. Because the chipset and the video analytics, whatever the words we are just utilizing it, is playing a great demand in the semiconductor industry. right? So hope you have understood this AI schema. So first is talking about the data model. Once you want to start with AI, so first we want to start about the AI model, because we need a data model, which is the massive data has to be collected to process it logic. So that has to be solved. And second thing is about kind of a storage, where we have to store and what is the logic we have to take about. That has to be taken care of as the second step. Third step is about how the features are extracted and what is the logic. Fourth is selection of your machine and deep learning algorithm and implementing on my chipset. How it has been done. Finally, your testing and so this is how we are going to proceed. So this is how we are going to proceed with the kind of an application. So this is the logic we have to understand for everything. Now we are just moving on to the learning algorithm implementation on a chipset, how it has been done. So I'm going to explain you about how to take about the research, what are the research perspectives and how it can be solved, and how can you learn that AI can be integrated on a semiconductor or a chipset, how it can be done. So these are all the things which you are going to study about with the two different case studies, right? First case study is about a simple data model, and second case study is something advanced one which connects with the internet working everything, right? So what is the thing we are going to do here is, when you start doing about the mathematical, because when you design an architecture, when you design a chipset, right, you need a mathematical model to be designed, and you need to solve all sort of application. So when you start exploring within 1 hour or 2 hours, what happens is this will be the result for everyone. So when you start exploring this kind of an application, will be thrown out like this. So instead, what we are going to do is going to take up this video, that is movie. You would have seen in the 2010 there was a movie called Robot, that is Endiran, right? In Tamil and Telugu, Malayalam, every Hindi, the film was released. It was a huge success. And when you want to start learning about this kind of AI on the semiconductor or AI kind of an application, right, you can take up this video and take up this movie, because this movie gives you a clear picture about the problems, how it is selected, even though it has not been with what you say, what are the chipsets developed. That has not been case here, but you can take this as a case study for you, and that case study, with the help of the case study, you can able to understand the schema what I told you, and then you can start exploring with the tools what I'm going to explain you. So here I'm going to have you the two case studies from this video, and I hope it will be in Tamil, don't worry it. So I'll just explain you what is the problem. So after seeing a 2 minutes or 3 minutes of video, then we'll move on to the how it has been solved and how this AI and as well as this chipsets, how it has been designed and what are the tools available. So let me go for this. So it is you have seen that all this program, right, this movie has been seen by everyone. I hope that it is something like it is a chitty, like it is a master, and you are seeing a beautiful Aishwarya Rai over here. So this is the problem. Just watch out this. It will be in Tamil. Don't worry it. So I'll just take over like how it has been solved. So I'll explain the scene once again. So just look at this, what is happening. Then we'll go on to the next level. And this film will give you the clear picture about the AI on the chipset, right? So I'll just play the video.
உன்னை ஒலிக்காம கொல்லுவேன். நான் கண்டுபிடிச்சேன்னா உன் சாவு கொடூரமா இருக்கும். வசீகரன் நீங்க இல்ல போதிருக்க சனா.
ஆமாமா.
ரெண்டுல ஒன்று தொடு. அப்போ வசீகரன் இங்கதான் இருக்கா. என்னாச்சு சனா? தலை சுத்துதா? இப்போ சுத்தம் பாரு. Soldiers, rotate your heads.
Right. So this was a quite interesting scene actually, right? Which explains you the artificial intelligence over here. So now what we are going to do here is we are going to have a solving methodology. The case study has been shown to you. Now, like we are going to solve it, how it has been, how it is going to be solved, and what are the logics which you are going to take over here. So step by step, it is purely used for your research also. If you are doing research in kind of AI and a semiconductor chipset, you can follow this, right? So let me go for my whiteboard session actually, where I can show you like how it can be solved and what are the things which we can do here. Sharing. So here is, I just make it out. I don't want to like make it in case of hope my whiteboard can be seen by everyone else, right? So the case study number, because we have case studies to be solved, and one with basic level and next one is your advanced level, so we can understand how far it is. Case study number 1. So in the case study number 1, what is the logic here is, first, whenever you design an AI, whenever you want to select an input for AI, please select your problem. So what is your problem here? What is the problem statement you have to come across here? The first problem, what we come across here in the case study, what you have seen here is the machine or a chipset or whatever you may call us has to select the difference of human, or it has to select the human from the group of robots. This is what the first logic you have to take care about it. Human from the robots. This is the logic which we have to take care. But there is another problem, right? This is a basic problem which you can understand. It has to identify the human from the group of robots. This is the logic. This is the machine. This have to make a mechanism. But there is a very important problem in this case, that the case here is, right, it has to identify the human from the similar robots. This is the logic what we have to come across here. This is a logic which we have to come across here. This is the important problem. So in general, we can say like the data, the different data has to be identified from the group of similar data. This is a vital role in a cyber security, right? It plays a vital role in cyber security and industry 4.0. So these are all the application domains where you can apply this kind of AI along with a chipset. So you have to understand clearly the human from the similar robot, that is identify the different of data from the similar data. This is the logic which we have to take about the similar data. So sorry for the typer. So this is the logic which you have to take over here. Now, once this problem statement is identified, so this is the problem statement which we have identified right now. Next is about selection of an algorithm. How do I select the algorithm? Because in accordance with that, I need to prepare my data model. The first thing is about, you need 3 categories: supervisory, and you need about what are the logic you are called unsupervisory, and the final is your reinforcement. This is the logic which we are working over 3 kind of an areas. So supervisory, what is here? My first case study is a supervisory. What is here is in the supervisory is because inputs and outputs are known. Inputs are 100 data, and from the 100 data, I have to identify the human, right? So inputs and outputs are known. That is supervisory. And unsupervisory, I don't have concentrate on to the outputs. Instead, I work on the inputs. That is known to be the unsupervisory logic. And the reinforcement is something like a similar kind of a supervisory, but it is quite different, which is having in which the outputs are keep on updating with interaction with the environment. So this is a 3 categorization. Now we are going to solve with the supervisory because inputs and outputs are known. Because our problem is how this problem can be solved in the hardware. This is the logic. So supervisory model. So this is the taken. So here again, we have machine learning and deep learning. So supervisory and the machine and deep learning comes into these 3 categories actually. So machine and deep learning. How to choose your machine learning and deep learning? First thing is about select your volume of data and choose your machine and deep learning. If the cup of your data is low, or if your volume of data is low, you can go for your machine learning. And when you have large kind of a volume of data and large kind of a mechanism, then you can go for a deep learning module. So what is the example we can provide here is, it is a kind of a training a 6th standard student. It's a 6th standard student with a 6th standard syllabus. I cannot train the 6th standard student with the UPSC examination syllabus such as IAS and IPS. I couldn't do it because there is a huge data sets are required, but here it's a small data sets which can able to easily for us to train him. So that's a logic. So that's a chip has to be trained. So choose your machine and or deep learning depends upon the data what you have or the volume of data what you have. In this case scenario, we can select only like it's a only of 100 robots. So you can select only 100 robots or 100 data what we have, 100 similar data. This is the most important problem what we have. And then you have to make it in the cases of machine learning. So here it can be utilized only for the machine learning logic. So this is the cases, right? So this is the cases. So you can choose your machine learning for solving this problem. So first thing is about the data model. So before that, a hardware setup, what we need to have. So hardware setup. So after this, we need a camera, the high definition cameras, interface with my chipset. That is the AI chipset. So, and then it has to have a alarming sensor. So this is the logic which we have to take care about it. So now this AI chipset has to put my algorithm that it should run and it should see. So the algorithm. So we have to train it. So we need to go for training of my. We can say generally, and then we'll go for a chipset. So training model. So whenever you go for a training model, we need to prepare a data model. That is required for us. So data model preparation is important for us. So if you have a experience in the data sciences, they will be working on the CSV format. They will be working on my like Excel. They'll be working on any kind of like databases, everything, right? But here it should be stored in an SD card. Your hardware should able to connect it with my SD card, or it should be connected with the cloud so that I can fetch the data for my card. So logic is, we'll talk about this. So now the preparation of a data model. So what I make here is I just made 0 for the robots and 1 for human. So this is the logic which is being normally utilized. So just click over it. This is the logic. So just the mechanism. So the data model, what I'm keeping here is first is your robot ID. In this case study, in the video, you would have seen different cases. That is, it checks the body. Different features have been extracted, right? Different features have been extracted, and one such features which we called as like body scanning. It scans the body, and like what happens here is it smells the sweat. It smells your like temperature, breath rate, okay, and finally like it cuts your metal body, and finally the rotation of the head, right? So these are all the features which has been calculated, right? In the second application, what we have to take care about here is in the machine learning and the deep learning. Machine learning doesn't support your feature extraction. It doesn't have the feature extraction. We have to take the feature extractions separately and linked with my algorithm. This is one kind. Whereas the deep learning have the integrated feature extraction methodology where it can integrate with, where it can be integrated with the learning platform. So this is the next major difference why today's scenario we are following a deep learning algorithm. Right, the deep learning will have the feature extraction methodology where I can utilize and we can make it out. But whereas in a machine learning, we don't have such a kind of a facility in which I have to separately write a feature extraction and I have to extract it. So that's a logic. So whenever you consider about the video analytics, what we are talking about, this is a simple video analytics, and you need something which has to be solved with the deep learning. But still, I just used to solve with the machine learning, and then we'll move on to the deep learning. Just data model, preparation of a data model, and we have extracted. Assuming that we have extracted the different features, it is called body scanning, and you have like another feature which is called sweat, and we have a temperature and the breath rate, just short forms, and cutting of your body, like you have seen that there will be like a slavage of your metal bodies and the rotation of the head. And this is the feature which we have taken. And how it differentiates, the robot model is given. If it is robot, body scanning, if it is showing the metal type, it is 0. Right? It is metal type, it is 0. And if it is, there is no sweat, it is 0. And there is no temperature, 0. Breath rate, 0. And there is no kind of bloodshed, 0. You can rotate the head for 360. This is the logic which we have to think about here. This is one actually. Second thing is about the human. what about the human here is the body scanning will be like different one. It is body scanning. It's quite opposite when you find a human body. And then like you have a sweat, there will be a sweat, there will be a temperature, there will be a breath rate, there will be a bloodshed, but you can't able to rotate the head. That is 0. So this is the preparation of a data model once you give to my chip. And second thing is about like how to make it as a supervisory model. The supervisory model is something like which happens over here. I'll go for a label. So the label here is very simple. The label which comes into over here is I just mentioned earlier. It is 0 and it is 1. Simple. So my data model is ready. So this data model can be fed. It's 100 data, so it will have 100 data for you. So this data model is ready. That can be fed into my AI chip through an SD card or through my cloud center. Now, what happens is how the algorithm works, right? My algorithm works. You would have seen here is when there is a body scanning, it fails. It couldn't identify it. When there is a sweat, there is no identification. When there is a temperature, no identification. Breath rate, no identification. Cutting, it fails. But only one single feature that makes you to understand the clear-cut mechanism, and my learning model has to understand with only one single feature, right? With the help of one single feature, that is a rotation of head, the learning model understands he is the human which is present on the similar robot. So that, my dear friends, that is the algorithm which we are following it, and that algorithm is known to be the support vector functions, in which it can able to learn, even though it is older one, it has been utilized for kind of a logic which has been implemented over here. So the single feature change, it can able to understand the single feature change over it. When you have a different features, if the different features fails, it can able to understand only with a single feature fail. That is called support vector machine. So this is the solution for solving the or identifying the human from the group of similar robots. Now our AI algorithm is ready, and how to feed into my chipset and what are the chipsets is required for developing this kind of an algorithm. The first thing is about the first algorithm. The first thing, everybody would have worked on the microcontrollers and microprocessors here. So let me have this thing. First thing is about how to choose a set for this. Here, nowadays, we work on GPUs. So we work on GPUs, your graphics processing unit, and we are working on TPUs actually, like tensor processing unit, and finally FPGAs. So we are working on the 3 scenarios, and this is FPGA. Now we are working on SoCs. So like these are the 3 scenarios where we are working to develop a chipset and to test your algorithm. So what are the things which are available? Here I just go for the 2 mechanisms. One is with the hardware centric, and second is your software centric. This is a logic. One is your hardware centric design, and second one is your what you call as your software centric. Hardware centric is like putting all my data models and all my chipsets into my chipset, which is going to work for a logic. But software centric is something like, or we can call this as a cloud centric. There will be a simple thing which can be utilized for getting the data, and it will be connected with my cloud for a data analysis. This is the logic we have to care about the mechanism. In a hardware centric, what are the things which we have to take care about it? Nowadays, the semiconductor has taken a role in a kind of a mechanism. What we have to hear is NVIDIA Zen Nano. This occupies a major share in a semiconductor to implement all sort of applications. The previous algorithm, what I told you with the case study, is been filing out the basic mechanism for the NVIDIA Jetson Nano. It is an embedded GPU where it occupies nearly 90% of the market share in the semiconductors along with your AI chips. So this is the most important cases what we have, 90% of your market share. This is what the NVIDIA is occupied here to implement this kind of AI on my chipset. And most primarily it is utilized in all kind of your video analytics and video logic and everything. This is one kind of application. Second thing is about second application. This is 90% and remaining 10% is something on like we called as the neuro processors. This is the logic which we are working today. So it's a low-cost neuro processors, and the processor is Kandrite. Okay, so the processor is Kandrite, and we call this K210 processors. It is not a kind of a GPU. It's not a kind of a GPU. It's a kind of a CPU, right? It's a kind of a CPU where it has the deep learning or what you call this AI engine enabled with that. So you have a CPU to process all sort of application, or we can call this as an SoC, which is having an integrated AI engine with it. So this is the logic, and it is primarily utilized in all sort of your video analytics, low cost video analytics. But NVIDIA GPUs are occupying the major share, but this neural processor will have their kind of a logic, will have their kind of the neural networks and neural kind of a deep learning and machine learning engine runs on my chip. So this is the neural processor Canebrite K210 processors, which has been working on today's scenario. And third thing is about like working on the kind of Cortex processors. This is the again and most important thing which works on the Cortex processors. This Cortex processor are nothing but another category of ARM. The ARM processors what we have right now. And this kind of an ARM processors you can utilize with it's a next extension within of ARM, that is Cortex, and we normally use Cortex A5, and you have the A7, and nowadays we use A50X series. So this is the or 5X, okay, 50 series. This is another scenario where it works, where you can understand this kind of a Cortex processors, which is being utilizing in today's scenario. And fourth is about working on a kind of PGAs. What you called as, like you said, like it is an SoC. What normally we prefer is like Zinc or Zinc. These are the two boards which we normally prefer to develop a kind of an architecture on the chipset. There are four scenarios over here, and this the Canebrite K210 processor is all about RISC-V architecture. It's a RISC-V architecture which is playing a very, very vital role for your kind of an application. So this is a powerful engine which works on this. So this is hardware centric. So you have a lot of facilities over here. How does it work? That's the next level. How does it work? The workflow is something on this logic, this chipset. How it works? This is OS as a base layer, and second is your, after the OS is your base layer, then there comes your what we call AI engine. AI engine as a second layer, and then you can utilize the kind of your application. These are all the three things which has been working on this. OS on the bottom, and next level is your AI engine. Whichever the engine or a libraries which we want to put, you can install as a second layer, and third is your application. So here, in terms of application in today's world, we are just integrating all sort of things. As we are implementing a kind of a mechanism on a new code called MicroPython. I'm just talking about the first three boards. I'll just come to the fourth board, that is FPGA, SoC, right? So OS, that is the AI engine, and then we'll have a workflow for this, and then we can have this kind of an application. This is the workflow. Second, what kind of OSs can be utilized in all these boards? Just explain you. This is Yocto. It is, or general, we can say it is Linux boards which comes into the picture. And here engine, you can use a TensorFlow, Torch, and we installed over here with the Keras. These are all the things which is normally utilized, and the application should be on my MicroPython. So this is the logic. So this is the logic which the tools, workflow tools which we utilize for the first three boards. Actually, you can install it, or even for the mobile net. This is another thing which is being utilized for your processors. So these are all the things which are can be installed, and you can do it with the help of developing a model, and then you can go for the MicroPython for writing a code. So this has been the application which is developed. So this is the tools, and these are all the things which is required. How to train a model? This is the logic. Then how come my chipset works on? This is the training models, right? I told you like these are the data models. Depends upon the data model. Store your data in the SD card or your flash or cloud. If you have a huge data, don't go for the chipset should be able to transfer that. Now your whole system will act as your, like what you call as the edge. So it will be called as an edge. So it transfers it collects the data from the cloud. The cloud will have the training model, fetch the training model, what is being required, and then you just run the show on the basic mechanism. So this based on the data and the model which you have to take care about it. So there's a store which you have a low volume, what we seen on the first case study. It's a low volume of data. You can use it in your SD card and store the SD card and or in the flash. So that the machine can train on that and you can prepare a model. So that preparation of model, and you can test it with the application. But when you have a huge data, connect it with the cloud so that my model chipset will act as an edge, and it can able to collect the data from my cloud and it can retrieve it and do some processing. So this is how the logic we have to take care about it. So this is the preparation of the training model. Now what is the next level of this after preparation of a training model for these 3 boards? But what will happen to my FPGA if I do with a kind of a FPGA kind of a stuff? Right? What I can do with that? Or an FPGA, I'll give you the clear mechanism. So let us take a simple board like X7 board. It's an H board actually. It's an H board. So what happens in the H board is something H plus your I. So we call this H plus EI chip, which has been integrated, so that we have to take care about the logic. We have to make it. So H plus EI chip is going to be integrated. So let us say how you have developed it, how you can develop it. First thing is develop your what you call as an API. So you can develop an API, and which you can connect it through UART, that is your receiver and transmitter, through the RTX7 board. To the RTX7 board. So you can connect it the UART with the RTX7 board, and which the data sets and data mining will be done in my Python. Only the features will be sent to my FPGA board. Hope you have understood what is the logic here. So it can be sent only to the RTX7, which the RTX7 consists of any kind of your machine learning or deep learning logic. Architecture which runs it, and output can be visualized in your logical. This is a setup when you want to develop any kind of a new architecture, and this can be utilized for your ASIC designs also. So this kind of a thing, what we can see here is the Python API will have all the data sets, and my FPGA architecture will run only run the training model, only the architecture which can consume less power and which can have maximum efficiency. So the architecture can be designed and can implemented on my RTX7 or a chipset which is available, and you can check how the architecture performs. So the data mining, data feature extraction, everything will be done with the help of your desktop using your Python. Connect your system with your UART, that what is called UART, and you can get the data, fetch the data, the board fetch the data, and it is going for a kind of an application you can do for the processing. Whenever you start doing kind of a research, you can do this kind of an application. And in the scenario, what I want to make you to understand here is, here in the Python API and all sort of a stuff, the thing what we want to make it over a clear picture in this logic is that SD card, flash, and edge IoT, and this kind of an architecture. Everybody is working on your Verilog and VHDL, but here in this case, I just prefer to go for my Python. So the Python-based hardware languages have been there. The best example is MyHDL. So you can use this MyHDL. You can use this for a processing, and you can utilize for developing a kind of an algorithm. So these are the things which we have to come across here. And the thing is, like, these are all the methods, workflow. When you start doing an AI on a chipset, these are all the workflow, what you can do it. So working on different processes, and I told you, like, the first processor which occupies the major share is NVIDIA. So this is the logic which we have been coming across here. Hope you have understood this. This is a workflow and the algorithm, how to select an algorithm and how to port it, what are the programming techniques we have to use it, and what are the boards which occupies the major share, and what are the libraries which are making out to do a build. Now, next thing is about, I want to share you about the most important application of these algorithms and the chipsets where it has been utilized. The first application here, it is cyber security. Most important here is a cyber security, and that too, it has to identify the hardware related attack methodologies. This is the next extension, right? After this algorithm, after selecting your chipset, want to work on this. Next thing is about applications where we want to work on this. So this is like something on hardware related attack mechanisms. So what is hardware related? Because when you encrypt the data, there is a lot of encryption engines which is working on my chipset, but there are something which is going to take place. In fact, it has been known that in the 2022, it will be around 18.5 billion devices will be connected with each other. So it will be that this is the logic. It will be interconnected. So what you called as 18.5 billion devices. It is to be connected with each other. So you need to develop a chipset which can able to overcome this kind of an application. So what is the logic which we are utilizing here, and how this chipset is utilized for a machine learning? Cyber security, the most important attack which occupies the major share is 70% of the share which occupies of an attacks. Now hardware is nothing but your side channel attacks. So the side channel attacks plays an important role for you guys actually. So how it determines. So there is a mechanism which we have to take about it, and there is a chipset which is following this kind of a logic. So here I'll just give you the algorithm, the AI chipset which runs on the chips. This is nothing but deep learning that we called as chaotic artificial intelligence chipsets. This is the most important, and it has been taking place in this kind of a concept. It is a artificial, that is chaotic artificial intelligence chipset, or we can say it is an engine which has been integrated on my chipset. So this is a logic which we have been taking care. Now you can understand how far it has been changing over it. It is now we have been talking about artificial intelligence, but now the technology for the security kind of applications, now it has been changed to a kind of a thing what is called chaotic artificial intelligence mechanism. So this is the most important. It is nothing but it combines your AI algorithm with and chaotic encryption. Similarly, your quantum. You have understood, you have heard about this word quantum computers. It's a category of a quantum computers on my FPGA chip or any kind of a GPU or CPU. Right? So this is the logic where we have been working over. You know, you hope you can understand what is the advancements of AIs in my kind of a semiconductor, or what you call as developing a chipset. This is the logic. So integration of my AI algorithm along with the chaotic applications. Right? It's the most important scenario what we have right now, and with that can be integrated with a kind of an FPGA and GPU. So this is the real challenge among all the researchers, because the quantum works in a different scenarios, right? It works on the different scenarios, but here we need a system that can able to come down, that the quantum is working on a high speed, and we have to make the speed to come down according to our processor, so that I can combine with the artificial intelligence algorithm, and this kind of a chipset can overcome the most predominant attack in my network on from the processors, that is called side channel attacks. So that can be overcome with the help of this. This side channel attacks plays a very important role whenever you just connect it with the hardware. That too, it appears after the encryption. It appears after the encryption of the logic. So that's the logic. Here it doesn't operate with the data. It operates only with the encrypted data. So in order to overcome this chipsets can be developed with a kind of an application. That is AI algorithm with the chaotic, that is derived from the quantum logic, and that can be ported on my chipset, that is on FPGA, GPU or TPU. So this is the second area what I want to concentrate on this. After selection, the model we have put, this is an application what we talked about. Next is about bringing a 5G on my chipset with the AI. This is the logic which we have to be in, which is the most problem and most complex logic which you have been coming across here. So we talked about, like, it is about all about the video analytics. So it is all about the video analytics, what we have to take care about it. And the video analytics, everything we're talking about is video, images, and everything on my hardware. But the logic which we have to come across is how it can be related with my network issues. Because when you have the video analytics, when you talk about our network system, it works on the 4G and even in the 3G, and that too with the no Gs actually. So whenever that kind of applications are being predominantly utilized, how can this can be solved? How can the artificial intelligence on the chipsets can be solved? So this is the next scenario what I want to make it out. So let me share one of the experimental block diagram where you can also do with the kind of an application, developing a kind of an algorithms on my chipset with the help of, I just tell you, like, it has been worked on the NVIDIA Jetson. So that has been developed, and how it functions, I just give you a mechanism. I'll share the things actually. Yeah. So the same scene, I'll just share this PPT because it consists of all sort of applications and everything. It will be useful for you to share it, right? So I'll just give you this picture. Yeah. I'll take this as a scene actually here. This is a scene which we have taken over from the film also. So this is the scenario. This is a video which you can see here. The scene which you have seen here is the fetus video, that is fetus streaming of the fetus video has to be streamed lively on my Wi-Fi network, right? So you can see some specifications over here. What is the network? What is the strength and everything? frequencies utilized and the image capturation. So this is the most important problem what we have today actually. So how it transfers, I just explain you with a block diagram. So this is the block. I just tell you that the fetus video has to be streamed lively on my Wi-Fi network. And this is the machine. The machine needs some artificial and the chipsets with the artificial intelligence, how it solves and what is the logic. Now, the thing is, I'm just going to have this, the logic. So you can see here. So here the ultrasound videos are taken. What is the problem? Let me have the first case study. I will talk about this. What is the problem in the scene is, when you transfer the medical ultrasound videos, right, it consumes larger bandwidth. When you talk about an IoT network, when you talk about a Wi-Fi network, when the large bandwidths are being transferred, you can't able to connect a large number of devices. So you can't do with that. So instead, how it solves the problems. So one, I assume there is no kind of a cloud system. So no cloud, not by streaming into the cloud, from the cloud, everyone can utilize. That is not the case here. You have a hardware in between and it gets the video and it has to stream to the devices, whoever is connected with that. So remember, this is the problem. So the problem here is, first problem you have to identify here is, when you talk about this scene, the medical ultrasound videos will consume larger bandwidth. So how come I can able, my hardware solves this? How the AI chipsets can be designed for this? This is the logic which we have to taking care about it. I just explained you, this is the ultrasound video sequences. I just compressed it or I could encode it. When you go for a film, you can see that as MPEG-4 compression is being taken over in the film. But here, I just make it a very simple, that is H.264 encoder, which can be utilized over here. And now what happens here is, my chipset, all this kind of, it's a chipset which is happening over here. Now you can see there is a content type which is being extracted. You can see that the content is extracted. So the important content and the background contents are extracted and kept aside. So here we just integrate a new kind of a mechanism. My chipset will have a mechanism called CNN accelerators, right? It is a CNN accelerators where it runs your architectures and all the flows in my chipset. We have a CNN accelerator. CNN is a kind of a deep learning. It's a convolution neural network. The CNN accelerator runs over here, right? And it extracts the normal and what you call this important and unimportant. That is background and the feeders. Now here you are seeing some experimental setup on the small scale simulator network, where it is nothing but it consists of the network that is considered as a Wi-Fi. So what happens is, we are measuring a network parameters. So you need a self-learning algorithm which can able to measure the network parameters such as your signal strength, delay, throughput. You see a lot of networks here available here. Network parameters are available here. It is to be measured and it has to be created with the environment and takes over here. Now you need a mechanism. The features have taken, that's the important image have been taken, your parameters have taken, and my hardware able to schedule the data, schedule the content according to the signal strength. So according to the network parameters, right? If the signal strength is so high, the network parameters is so kind of a high system that it is have a high value, the important contents are sent at first, and then the next content will be second, will be scheduled at the next level. It depends upon the network parameters what we have. So here again in the receiver side, it is decoded and then it is being reconstructed. So here, my dear guys, this is a CNN. The CNN accelerator runs on this. The K210 chip runs CNN accelerator, right? It runs a CNN accelerator and it plays a vital role. So you can use a K210 processors over here. Now it has to interact with the environment. So now the deep learning combined with my reinforcement learning algorithm comes into the picture. So this is where the hybrid, my chipset has to solve this hybrid logic, hybrid training mechanism, hybrid learning algorithm that has to be put on my chipset. So the logic which comes across here is, the scheduling of the data or a video will take place depends upon the network strength what we have. So here again, what I'm doing is, I'm just measuring the output and the input with the help of a PSNR. The quality, I'm going to check it out. If the quality matches, left out. If the quality is not available, the quality is not up to the mark, we have to redefine the logic. So this is a kind of a reinforcement. So self-learning, deep learning logic, or we can say self-deep reinforcement learning algorithm, which plays a vital role when you have to link with the kind of a network with the video analytics. So this is the most important scenario where the chipsets, in today's scenario, the chipsets are working. So here, this is the logic, and this is an experimental setup when you want to try to work on this kind of a mechanism. So I told you the processor K210 processors can be utilized for this kind of an application where you have a CNN accelerator, and the reinforcement, you can utilize any kind of a stuff that you can write a code on K210 itself and you can run these two algorithms in which the features can be extracted, that is the important features, content can be extracted and transmitted over the network, depends upon the network parameters. And this can be measured, decoded, reconstructed, and this can be measured to see how it functions. And this parameter we called as MOS, that is mean opinion score. So that with the help of a mean opinion score, you can understand what kind of an application, what kind of improvisation is required for a logic. So this is most important mechanism where the chipsets are required to run. That's what we call as self-learning or deep reinforcement logic. Self-learning deep reinforcement logic, which is playing a vital role in the case of this. And this will be playing a vital role when the 5G comes into the picture. The scheduling of the data depends upon the signal strength. So video conferencing, everything that is not, I'm not talking only with the video conferencing, but with the medical image or medical video transmissions, which is required today. And when you want to operate a lot of cameras in the scenario, so when we have like 15 or 20 cameras at a place and it has to access it has to get the data and it has to feed by the cloud and the chipset has to understand and it has to retrieve. These are all the complexities what we are facing today in the integrating or designing an intelligence system on the logic. So this is the next case that you can understand how complex this is, and you can see that the binding of a deep learning logic, that is hybrid deep learning logic on my chipset. So it is a power, we have a problem that power will consume a larger number, and the researchers are going for taking out, when you go for wearable devices of type, the power, the reduction of power, we are just concentrating to reduce it for the further future. So this is all about the things which we are working over here, right? So if you have any queries, right, you can ask me right now. So I got questions actually, right? So, so A have to decide by itself either it's a right or wrong. In case 5, how to give an A decision. This is what the experimental setup I told you. The experimental setup which we're talking about, it has to measure with the input and output sequences with the mean square error, that is mean opinion score. That mean opinion score has to be measured, and we have to calibrate our algorithm and in the chipset without compensating. Here we are talking about only the implementation of algorithm on my chipset. So based on the MOS score, you can able to calibrate your algorithm and you can fix it out. With that, you can able to solve this problem. We have Wi-Fi. Can we have Wi-Fi? Right?
Wi-Fi.
Yeah, Wi-Fi. That is not. It's not. We can't say it is not possible, but still, we can able to implement in terms of your technology. Like you can integrate in a firmware. Hope like in K-Droid K20, you can check it out. It is with ESP32 chipset. You can try with this. Because K-Droid, your machine learning engine, you can do it, and that can able to control with ESP32F, which has been an Wi-Fi SoC which is connected. So you can do with that, but still it is not been it has not been implemented fully. Signal processing, yes, it's all about signal processing and videos.
Is there any AI sensor semiconductors?
AI sensors, still not there. Because the applications what we talked about is something like about the videos. Everyone is working on videos. So the AI sensors is not possible. I'm not saying it is not possible, but still we have not utilized till now.
Can we add? Another question is that can we add AI in our homes so to make it easy?
Yeah, it's possible. Like for example, I just tell you the clear picture like. The smart lightings, like which has been integrated here, you know, like smart lighting bulbs, flat bulbs, which has been integrated in our home. Like, what is the problem in the home is when the men arrive in the home, there will be a problem. There is a quarrel with our wives actually. So what happens here is it's like a project going on actually. The facial recognition, through the facial recognition system, the lighting has to adjust in order to increase the romance between the human, that is the husband and wife. It's going on really. So this is another kind of an AI platform which has been utilizing. So AI will find the most predominantly in our homes to solve our problems. And like we can use it in projects. IoT can be, yes, IoT, I told you, like IoT, the cloud centric, the edge devices, you can use your AI in the cloud for the prediction and the classification, what we talked about. and it is similar to an IoT. So IoT now has been enhanced with a kind of a AI skills. So if you can combine these two along with the chipsets, what I told you, and the chipsets, what are all I told you is an example of IoT with the AI. So you don't worry about it. These two things are going hand by hand. So these algorithms and the chipsets are being playing a vital role to bring it a good trade-off between these two.
How to attach AI with vast distance devices?
Vast distance. It is purely with your cloud system and an IoT. So this is how we can use it. Vast distance devices as well as the IoT and AI should go hand by hand, and you should have a good trade-off so that you can achieve or you can attach AI with the vast differences or vast devices.
Whether AI decides by itself, or is it
Yeah, like now like we are working, that told you, like self-learning reinforcement, which learns by itself. So the supervisory, what we are training the model, but in the reinforcement, that's why the case study I just told you, like it learns by itself. It learns from the a network, it learns from the environmental network and finds out what is the solution. So that reinforcement self-learning algorithm has been playing a vital role in today, and it has been utilized in all sort of robotics. But still, robotics, manufacturing industries and everything, now it is being utilized in a cyber security, what I told you, a 5G communication, or else we can say it is a cognitive radio system. You can utilize this kind of a learning by itself, how according to the environment. So the self-learning is possible in the AI along with the hardware.
how to give AI decision skills? Whether any feedback is required, feedback sort of some things are required, or AI takes decision by its own.
Have a decide by itself whether it is right or yes, it can take with the reinforcement, not with the supervisory or unsupervisory. If you're going for a supervisory kind of a AI mechanism, you can't able to use it because it is having a predominant input and outputs. You can't do with that. But in case of reinforcement, the decisions and your learning can be updated with the help of a solution. By using Verilog. Okay, Verilog, when you learn Verilog, that is fine. That is fine when you design an architecture. That's what you told when you work on FPGA. When you design an architecture, that is fine. That is well and good actually. But when you work on kind of an application, even the pink boards, what I told you, like we write the Python and there is a HDL compiler where it is converted into my Verilog. So I just suggest to go for a Verilog. If you're learning a Verilog, that's well and good. But if you learn a Python and have a good relationship with Verilog and Python, then it will be a good. And then I told you next library, my HDL libraries, is been a Python and I can able to convert it to the Verilog. So these are all the things which are available, which makes my deep learning framework easier to integrate on my FPGAs. So learning Verilog is okay. Please learn a Python also, where in today's scenario, these tools are going on hand by hand.
So that's all, I think, questions, I think, in the chat box.
Shall I take over, sir?
Yeah, Dina, you can take over.
Thank you so much, sir, for spending a big chunk out of your very valuable time with us to enhance our knowledge base and skill set with regards to AI for semiconductors. Your words will surely help us pave a successful path in our prospective careers. It has been an absolute honor and privilege to have you here with us. On behalf of IEEE Malabar Subsection and IEEE Malabar Hub, I would like to extend my very sincere gratitude to Dr. Atif Shah for joining us and for whipping a magical potion of AI this session. Your thoughts have enlightened our minds and have shown us a new path. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Atif. It's
Thank
nice.
you, sir.
It's nice to have you. So we will have another session later on.
Sure.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you once again, sir.
Thank
To the
you.
attention of all participants, a feedback form has been given in the comment section. Kindly fill it up to avail your certificates. Once again, to the attention of all participants, a feedback form has been given in the comment section. Kindly fill it up to avail your certificates. Thank you so much to all the participants for joining us here today, for being a part of today's session. We wish you all the best for all your future endeavors. With this, we shall now wind up today's session. Thank you once again to all of you. You may now leave the meeting room.
Thank you, Dina.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Solomon.